Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Past Lives. So it's a hot one. 8.4 on IMDb, 8,269 people rated so far, hour and 45 minutes long. It's about, I believe, two South Korean people who I think meet in South Korea at a young age, and then one of them, they leave, and I think I don't know where they go, but they leave South Korea and they go somewhere else, and then 20 years later they kind of meet up. That's what I get from the and that's why you have me, so I can at least tell you a little bit more about it after I watch it, because it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't have anybody in it that I recognize, at least not yet. So, but like I said, 8.4, and like the guy I often mention on here, the TikTok guy, he watched it and he just loved it. And I don't know, seems like a very mature film for me, but I'm going to check it out. I'll let you know what I think. Stick around and I'll give you a better idea than what IMDb has listed. And you want to go search for it. I'll be back. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Past Lives, and a couple of different things. This is, yeah, like I said, it's probably a little bit more mature than my palate. I don't know. I guess I'm trying to use mature words. But anyway, you know, here I am with my Aquaman shirt. But, you know, it was, I mean, I wasn't on my phone. So I start there, right? I was engaged in this film. And you have to be, because it's 99% subtitles. It's funny, the movie started and the first couple of words iterated, which I thought was a really cool opening scene, and I liked it a lot. Like, and I'll give the opening scene away, but you know, the voiceover of like what it feels like other people in the restaurant looking at three people at the bar. Now, what do you think they are to each other? And they have a little conversation there, and then boom, it flips back to like 24 years ago or whatever. And so it's like, okay, and then from there it dives into, as we said in the opening, it's two kids in South Korea who are like best friends at the age of 12. Very short time there, and then she moves to Toronto and then ultimately into New York. And so they are no longer together. They go on with their lives. They reconnect later in life, but reconnect virtually. Like, they never get to meet each other. They don't get to meet each other again. I thought it was 12 years later, but I thought it was 12, 12, and 12, but maybe not, but whatever. Something like that. 8 to 12 years later they meet, and you know, they start interacting again, catching up. And so for me, just that aspect, from a movie watcher, it's hard to see the chemistry. Obviously, you know, you see them talking back and forth and smiling and having good conversations, but nothing stood out to me. Now their lives continue to evolve. He's going to school to be an engineer. She's doing some kind of writing stuff. Great. Well, then they connect, so they disconnect and connect again. You know, so, and that's the whole thing, and their lives continue to grow. And I think it was like 12 years later, I think what they said, 20 or 24 years, whatever, is when they reconnect and they finally get to see each other face to face. And there's much more to it, and I don't want to get into you know, everything that evolves around them, because I think that helps. But outside of that, you know, there's no really other characters in this movie. There are some other actors and small bit roles, except for one other guy, who's John Magaro, I think his name is. You've seen him in other things. He's the only other person that you would name in this. In the beginning, the mother and father slightly. Never seen from again. No idea. No idea why they decided to move, and no idea on what they're doing now. With that being said, that's okay. I don't need those details. But interestingly enough, I mentioned earlier the chemistry. When they finally get to meet in person, like, I don't know, I think I wanted the chemistry to be there. I wanted it to be there all along for what they set up for you in this movie, right? And I just didn't, I don't know. just didn't do that for me at all. There's a scene at the bar where it feels to me, this is just, one man's opinion, that they tried to jam all of this connection, and I hate to repeat myself and say chemistry, into one small scene of like a minute or two. That's my fault. I don't feel that it wasn't there before. I didn't feel emotionally tied to what happens to these two people from a relationship standpoint. Even that much from a life in general standpoint. They both had, like I said, he was going to school, she was doing writing things. Like, do they achieve their dreams and stuff like that? I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know what it was. It could have been just because I'm reading the whole thing, and not. I think maybe if you have you understand the language, maybe that connection's built for you. I'm sure. Now I've read other movies, right? I have subtitles. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be this type of, like, I'm sure probably them are a little bit more action based, and so not as character driven as this one is. But I know I've seen a lot of movies and I felt emotionally tied to a lot of different things that I didn't in this one. So I don't think that's the reason. I don't know. Just maybe not my cup of tea. I didn't buy into it. I don't know what it was. But I'm not on the 8.4 train on this one at all. Slightly I want to like it because everybody else does. Even my favorite review guy. I didn't even listen to the whole thing he had to say because I didn't want to spoil it for me. But it fell flat for me. I'm sorry. And I think I've given some good examples without giving anything away. But I will leave you one piece. So for me, it just wasn't a successful watch for me. So I'm a little disappointed. But I am going to talk a little bit more about it. So I will say spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I'll say this, if you're watching this for the ending of the movie, you're probably watching it for the wrong reason, right? Just in my opinion. But with that all being said, at no point, Nora, I don't know. I didn't have belief in her character, really. Maybe it was at the 12-year mark when she said, let's take a break. Maybe that's what caused it, and I'm thinking more. But, she's jokingly looking for this guy, in a sense. And then, she connects with him. Doesn't feel real to me. And then at no point, even from that point, from that whole point forward, I never thought that they would be, like, they're going to reconnect. I said spoiler alert. I never had a belief in my thought. I never saw it in her eyes. And that's kind of what you wanted, I think. See that connection, hope for it, and let them tell you what happens, which is fine. I'm not upset with the way the ending happens, but I wanted to be, like, at least misled a little bit. You know what I mean? It was just not. It was just like, for me, it was like, hey, we were friends when we were 12. It was great catching up at one point. I have more important things to do. I'm going to go do them. And, while I go do them, I might find somebody else. I found somebody else. Oh, great, you came here to see me. And so I have to tell you, you should go get married. Because if you can't tell, I haven't loved you for the last 24 years. That's what I got from this, from her. There you go. I did say spoiler alert, so that's it. Apologize for the rant there, but maybe it's for you. I don't want to discourage anybody, but like I said, I'm probably just not mature enough for this movie. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.